Good morning, Miss Umbrella. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm well. Thank you for coming in today to discuss Sundrop's scores.
Not a problem at all. Did she pass or fail?
This is actually a scholastic test of achievement that was taken throughout the week of March 3rd through March 10th to see how Sundrop is learning from our curriculum in the 3rd grade. This is not a test where we gauge whether they've passed or failed, nor do the students take all of the subtests in the same day. The assessment is split into 2 areas.
What are the 2 areas?
The 2 areas are the norm reference information and the criterion reference information. The top information will show us how she compares to the norm group. The criterion reference information on the bottom will display how she performs on individual skills such as reading, math, language, and spelling.
What's a norm group?
A norm group is a group of 500 students across the nation in the same grade as Sundrop, and they have taken the same assessment under the same circumstances.
Okay, that sounds good.
Now let me show you the different subtests throughout this assessment. As you can see, there is reading, mathematics, language, listening, spelling, science, social studies, the complete battery, and basic battery.
What is the basic battery and the complete battery?
A basic battery is the overall score of basic areas like reading, math, language, and spelling, except science and social studies, while the complete battery is the total scores of the areas.
Okay, that's nice to know.
The first column, labeled number of items, is simply the amount of questions that were on that individual subtest. The second column, labeled raw score, tells us how many she got correct out of those questions.
So why is the next number so low? Did she not do so well on total reading?
The national percentiles is not actually a percentage. Let me show you this bell curve and how it works. So, the bell curve is broken up into percentile equivalents, and as you can see, anything between here and here is our average of the norm group. If we look at her national percentile in total reading, she scored within the 53rd percentile of the norm group.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The bands relate to the percentile. SIM stands for standard error of measurement, meaning if we were to retake this test again and again, she would score either +4 or -4.
Okay, I did not know that.
Moving on to scaled score, looking at a total mathematics, you can see she scored 496 in this area. Let me show you on the bell curve.
That is a high number. What do you mean?
Alright, our scaled score is a ruler conversion that makes all scores converted so that they are out of 800 points, which would mean any score from 400 to 600 is our average.
She scored 496. This is in the average. That's great.
Right. Now, if we direct our attention to the bottom half of the page, we can start discussing the criterion reference information. This will tell us how Sundrop performs on a certain set of skills, and she is no longer being compared to the norm group. Sundrop's score in listening vocabulary was 16 out of 18, ranking her in the high group of that skill. Are there any subtests that you're curious to know more about?
Well, yes. Why did she score so low in phonetic
analysis?
Yes.
Vowels?
And measurement?
Great question. Let me explain what these initials right here mean in order to understand these numbers more clearly. RS is raw score, meaning the number of questions that Sundrop got correct. NP means the number possible, meaning how many she could have gotten correct out of those questions.
Okay.
Low, medium, and high refer to how she ranks on each skill.
So is she struggling heavily in history, geography, and economics?
Well, no, ma'am. You see, since the numbers possible for those skill tests is 6, which is so small, simply missing 1 or 2 could automatically place you in the low group, including phonetic analysis, vowels, and measurement that you questioned earlier, which only had 11 and 8 number possible. Therefore, missing 2 or 3 could drastically place Sundrop in the low group again. However, that does not mean that Sundrop struggles in these areas. As you see, she missed 1 or 2 of the total questions.
Okay.
Another strong point is life science. She scored 7 out of 7, meaning she got all of those questions correct, placing her in the high rank.
Wow, that's great news. That's really good.
Just remember that these subtests and overall achievement test is just a snapshot of how she is doing. But as I show you her portfolio, we can get a rolling video of her day-to-day work, which would explain more in depth on her performance in 3rd grade.
What should we do at home with her?
As we see in her portfolio, Sundrop is not a verbal or visual learner. PowerPoints, reading, tend to bore her quickly. She enjoys hands-on activities, so at home, we want to possibly encourage baking or cooking with measuring cups on her own as often as possible to enhance her learning and measuring skills, as well as measuring her height bi-weekly in feet and centimeters together so that she gets more practice. Now, to better her geography skills, try creating or possibly purchasing a puzzle of the United States or globe that Sundrop can put together during her time on the weekend. This is an easy way to get her excited about finishing the puzzle to view the end result. Then you could tape the puzzle together and hang it up in her room to remind her of her accomplishments as well as remind her of the geographic importance in the puzzle.
Such great ideas. I'm sure she would love them all. We will definitely work at that at home.
Great! Today you're leaving with a handout which explains the test scores and the vocab list of how to read the scores and the bell curve in case you're to forget everything we discussed.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
You have covered all my questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. I know this is a lot of information. I'm willing to help in any way I can. Please feel free to email me with any questions.
Thank you.